afternoon and welcome to the 9th edition of Horeca Kuwait and to our Hospitality Forum. I'd like to welcome you all. Thank you for being part of this panel. So we will be starting, please, by introducing yourselves, if possible. So I'll start with Sausan.
Okay. أنا شو مبدئيا كيف يفتح؟
Okay. Sausan Dana, executive chef or owner of Sausan Catering Company. Is this enough?
Ibrahim Al-Hawdi, MMC Catering CEO.
Shawi Barakat, Managing Director, Barakat Food Service Company. Sorry,
Hi, my name is Bibi Hayat. I'm an events planner and designer, and we have a production house.
And I'm Alameddine. I'm going to be your moderator today. I am a partner in Hodema Consulting Services. So we're organizing, along with Leaders Group and Hospitality News Middle East, this forum. And I'm very glad to host you today so that we can speak about a very interesting guest panel, which is going to be about the ideas and trends shaping today's catering industry in Kuwait. So let us start this panel by my first question. I'll direct it to Mr. Barakat. So how do you describe the catering business in Kuwait? And do you think the market is saturated or not?
First of all, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming today. The catering business is thriving in Kuwait with always room for innovation. Okay, as far as saturation is concerned, it is a bit saturated. If you notice in the last few years, a lot of entry into the food and service industry, a lot of open outlets, which also they use those outlets to extend into catering in terms of stations or drop-off.
اوكي انا رح احكي شوي بالعربي يمكن بقدر اعبر اكثر. انا بشوف انه افتتاح المطاعم والكافيهات كثير اكثر من الكيترينج. الكيترينج بعد بده دفشه لقدام لانه بالحقيقه هو انا برايي اصعب من المطعم. لانه بيدخل ببروسيجرز كثير وخطوات كثير اكثر وبده شوي اعتناء واهتمام اكثر ففي اقل انا بشوف انه اقليه وبيحتاج السوق انه يكون اقوى بالكيترينج كومبانيز and more.
Rahim, what do you think about? Is it a saturated market? How do you describe it?
To be honest with you, I think it depends on how you're looking at the catering industry. If you're looking at it from a consumer perspective, it's not saturated. There is limited options and offering and style of catering. But when you see it from a business perspective, some areas of the catering business is saturated, but there is a lot of areas that I think there is a lot of space to grow, especially the small type of catering, let's say 100 and less. And I believe that it would see a disruption with the entry of technology. So now we saw that in delivery, how we took it to the next level, but I believe that the market still didn't take its jump when it comes to Bilbait and the other applications and platform. But once that experience is being aligned with the customized catering, and I think it will boom and the market will have a huge space of growth for newcomers and existing players in the market to go into that industry, especially.
Bibi, being a wedding planner and having all the database of the clients that you have, so do you agree with Brahim that they think that they need more catering companies? What is the feedback really from your end?
Hi everyone, thanks for having me first of all. Being an event planner, I'm always asked to look for something new. Bibi Melina, we see this too much, it's the same stuff. It seems there's a lot of copy-paste in the market. So there's a lot of you know, a certain kind of station. If something booms, then everyone kind of follows. There isn't a uniqueness. There's a lot of pockets of missing elements in the market that need to be expanded. Yani, for example, I find that there's really not a good healthy option, and everyone's looking for healthy stuff. So healthy stations, they consider Saj healthy. Saj is amazing, but it's not healthy. The micro events that we have, which are about 6 to 7 a weekend, they're all looking, and the stations is taking over that market, but it's all the same. It's burgers, it's Saj, it's fried food, it's coffee stations. So there is a lot, but someone needs to look what's missing and expand on that from my perspective.
Okay, so basically, if we speak about your particular companies, each one of you, what is like really the edge? What is differentiating you one from another?
Okay,
No, go back. No, ladies, please. No, go ahead.
خليني اسال منك شو رح تحكي.
One of our father main principles that we live by, okay, as Barakat Food Company, we're built on Mas Al Ghanem restaurant, so we feed off that. So basically what we feed on is high quality ingredients, attentive service, and good and value for money. And that's what we've been doing for the last 65 years plus on these three principles. So that's what we build on.
بالنسبة was a joke. بالنسبة للكيترينج تبعي هو home style business catering. كيف home style يعني let's say if we have 10 orders at the same time, I will cook for each one alone. كل حدا عنا بياخد الاهتمام لإله لحاله. ولما بيوصل له الاكل بحس انه اللي طابخه او اللي طابخه تيتا او اللي طابخ جده او هيك. ففي خصوصيه معينه زايده شوي، وفي اهتمام مكثف على كل زبون لحاله. علاقتنا بالزباين كثير قويه، في حلقة كتير مترابطة بين الكيتشن وبين الكول سنتر وبيني وبين الديسباتش. يعني ما في زبون ممكن يكون بده يشكر أو يعترض على شيء أنا بالآخر let's say as a owner ما بعرف فيه. يعني بتلاقي a lot of owners مو شرط يعرفوا بكل المشاكل اللي بتصير. بالنسبة إلي أنا بالشركة كل شيء بعرف، لأنه أنا مرتبطة مع الكل وعندي اهتمام مكثف للزبون. فإتس a really home business ماخذ شكل شركة كبيرة.
And how much then with this can you cater up to? How many people?
هلا أنا بالوقت الحالي مش كتير حابة أكبر كتير صراحة. هلا so far I can cater ل 100%. أكثر من هيك ما بعرف حتى إذا بالمستقبل بدي أكثر. كثير هاممني إنه ضل الكواليتي تبعت الشغل عندي عالية، ضل الاهتمام موجود، وتضلوا الزباين حاسين حالهم إنه في رعاية حواليهم. يعني مش كثير مهتمة إنه.
Can you ask a question again?
Basically, if you can describe your company and tell us more, what is the differentiating factor, your competitive edge?
Okay. So MMC have been in the business for more than 22 years, if I'm not mistaken. The catering part of the business يعني, was growing in line with everything else we're doing in the F&B. The competitive edge that Lenot Catering is proud to have is the facility and the capacity. This is one of the things that it's a bit hard to replicate. And this is one of the questions you guys had for the barrier of entry. And I think it's just a handful of companies that can actually mobilize 100 employees for one event, one night, to do everything on site, inside of Kuwait and outside of Kuwait. So we believe that we have that type of edge that differentiates us from the market. And most importantly, we'd probably say that we have more than 35 locals, Kuwaitis, working in the company. So they understand the trends and things that is happening. So every year, what we do is we revamp everything that we do, and let's say take our old company younger. So every year we get younger rather than just an old company with only building on the heritage. So we try our best to keep updating everything that we're doing, to think as a new company rather than a big company.
Bibi, how are your customers? What are the requirements if we look at the trends worldwide? And Kuwait has always been among the first countries as well to be like trendy in terms of food and beverage and all of that. So how is that evolving throughout the years? Are you seeing that the catering companies you're dealing with are really going with the flow?
Okay. All right. So a little bit about the way I work is I consider myself a designer, but also a curator. It's my job to find and source the best that my clients can afford for the event. Okay, so if it's a large wedding, I'm working with the top hotels, the top catering companies, and there are times that I feel, and I'm sure it's due to economy, that they're just not upgrading their equipment enough. It seems the same. And what they don't understand about our clients, and again, it's not their fault, again, it's economy, is the clients want something new. So sometimes they're willing to sacrifice the taste of something just because the sakhanat jadida in another company, because they'll add in home food or they'll bring in food from other caterers. Now it's a weird kind of mix right now. Our clients don't and pride themselves not in working with one company anymore. They pride themselves in saying they curated their own menus as well. So we might get salad and sweets from the north, but the hot food is all home food, picked from families. And this is a tradition that is not changing in Kuwait, because also we feel proud to also add in and put home food into weddings. They keep on asking me, I want something new, I want something new, I want something new, but I also tell them that new doesn't get eaten at weddings, because I'm there till 3 in the morning. I'm there till the lejna comes and takes the food away for the charities. I know what gets eaten and what doesn't. What gets eaten is the classics, the classic stuff, the dolmas, the waraq anab, the kubba, anything in lemon, that kind of stuff gets eaten, the plated food. Anything exotic, anything like smoked salmon, any raw fish, any like really out there kind of menus, doesn't. So there's this unbalance of what people want because it looks good on photos. There's what the caterers provide, and then and what actually works. So it's my job to kind of balance that out. And I mean, Kuwait's really stepping it up. And what's great are there are some caterers that say, okay, just send me recipes, and they're so flexible. And there's others that know we're a hotel, we have international standards, we can't just do that. So it's my job to basically balance it all.
Can I add to this?
Yes.
Just to add, like you're saying, but customers always, if you have a wedding, I mean, ladies will over know, if you're inviting people over, you always have something different. If you go to one wedding and they're offering one thing, and if you invite somebody to your wedding, you want to offer something different. I do understand they don't eat it, but they still want to have it.
Yeah.
But this is part. You go and tell the customer when they come to place the order, well, this doesn't go with this. Let's say what we want. Okay, like they want a pasta, they want, like you said, the trendy quinoa or kale, whatever. Because it's trendy, they think it's going to sell. But because you want to have it on a display, when people come in and see the open buffet, we have a lot of variety. That's what customers want. Unfortunately, that's what they want.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
I mean, I totally agree on that, but I have this ethical balance of just trying to tell them at the end of the day, we do change it up, and usually what we do and the way we work is I tend to work with a very flexible caterers who are willing to make a very simple, even down to a very simple tabbouleh trendy by making it look different. So there's that kind of balance that we even get involved in the way it looks, just so that it gets easy.
يعني أنا بعتقد لأنه الناس بالكويت مفتوحين على ثقافات كتير متنوعة وبيتمتعوا بمذاق عن جد عالي، فدايما بدهم أشياء غريبة. يعني بيكون عندك 40-50 صنف، اوكي ايش في مثل ما قلتي بيبي، ايش في كمان شيء ثاني، ايش اوكي انا بعمل كل شيء بس ايش كمان اكثر. في اشياء مثل ما قلتوا ما بتزبط للعروس، في اشياء مثلا يعني انا بفكر كثير بالوقت. دائما اللي بيطلب للعرس مثلا بياخذ السخانات لتسي من الساعه 6 تو بريبير. انا بضلني افكر انه كيف شكل الاكله رح يكون لما يفتحوا البوفيه مثلا الساعه 12. ففي شغلات كثير بقول لهم ما بتزبط، بليز غيروا ما تاخذوها مثلا. بس فعلا السوق دائما بيطلب الغريب وبيطلب اشياء جديده، وبحس حاله صاحب الشركه انه بمرحله ركض وراء اي شيء جديد، which is انا شخصيا سوسن كثير عنصريه لاصاله الاكل شو ما كانت جنسيتها. فما بحب هيك حط فوق هذا جيب هذا فوق هذا، فبلاقي ساعات فعلا صعوبات باني ارضي انه دائما افتش على شيء جديد مش طبيعي.
Alright, I got you. So if we look a little bit on the business of catering, in restaurants, in hotels, we have seasonality. We have low season, high season, shoulder season. Does seasonality exist as well in the catering business?
احكي انا من هون يجي الميكروفون خلص انفتحت معي انا. I think اللو سيزون لكل حدا معروف اللي هو بالصيف. بس البلد كله يسافر ما يعود في حدا. It's the low season for everyone. The high season also for everyone is or month, let's say it's Ramadan. رمضان هو الشهر تبع الأكل صراحة، يعني بصير بطريقة مش طبيعية. وأنا عم استنى رمضان هلا يجي، لأنه عن جد بصير في شغل كتير منيح بيعوض شهور الصيف اللي البلد تقريبا بتفضى. غير هيك الأعياد بيرتفع بيرجع بينزل. عندك بالأسبوع مثلا عندك الويكندز بتكون هاي، الأحد تاني بترجع بتنزل and it's up and down يعني.
Alright, Brahim with Renault, how do you see that? How are things like really? Do you have seasonality?
As the catering?
As a catering, yes.
For the catering, yes, definitely. We're talking about July, August, September, those 3 months. But the clientele that we have is high. If for example, one of our brands is Overjar chocolate concept. I believe that if we activated the catering of Overjar, it will work during summer and winter, because the season of Overjar as a delivery, dine-in, etc.
It's higher
during the summer.
Exactly.
But for the clientele, all of them, they go for summering in different countries for a very long time. But what we wanted to do, diversified our company, not to make it not to reach to a point and no لازم not catering لازم يشتغل بالصيف. لا, we regroup ourselves every year during that period to update our assets, our plating, our recipes, come up with the ideas and the campaigns. Rather than doing it at the end of the year or beginning of the year to plan ahead, we do it during summer to activate the new season of the catering in end of September, beginning of October. And for the past few years, it has proven and it's a very good fit for such business. But I hope that the weather gets better. It might let people stay in Kuwait more and business will be better all year long. That won't be.
No, I tend to agree, but the way I see it, again, the summer months and September is being people coming back from their vacations, and back to school also puts a bit of a damper on the catering business. The way I see the peak is starting from October all the way till, like, I would say, till after the Eid of Ramadan. Because after Ramadan Eid, people start leaving the country, and then we go back to the same circle. Also, I do agree with Southend. The catering comes on weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But what we do is, on the weekdays, we concentrate on the corporate sector, where we give, banks, businesses, we try to make them offer just to compensate on the weekends. So I do agree with that. And I do agree with Ibrahim that the summer months is the time to set, to revise your budget, set yourself strategy-wise for the season.
And in your wedding and in your planning, when you're having events, you are as well following the same path of seasonality.
Yeah, I mean, definitely what's happened is definitely, I think it's to do with the market, and the market's been down. The wedding season has been really squeezed now, and that's due to when Ramadan is. So it used to be that our seasons were September to June or May. But at this point, nobody wants to get married 1 month prior to Ramadan because they want to go on their honeymoon.
And now Ramadan is in May, so
April. April. So our season is basically October to the end of March. So it's shrinking. There is now, like, people who want to do summer weddings because they're students or they work. People are getting married a bit later, so they're freer in the summers. But I don't find that people give them, not me, but they don't give them a better rate in the summer, which I think we should start doing. In Europe, I actually planned an event in Europe, and we did it in November, which is very low season. So there's a standard 25% off the catering, and that's just because who gets married, in end of November when it's cold. So I believe that things like this should be regulated, and people should be more aware of it, and give people options, because and there's no also clarity and like exact, I'm not going to say honesty, but it's not clear how much people charge in all sectors, and it's not clear which hotel can do what. It's a little bit in the gray, so I feel like that should be standardized just a bit more.
Okay, now hearing you all speak about seasonality, like in so many parts of the world, summer is the season for weddings, unlike in Kuwait. So you do not have the trend of doing weddings outside of Kuwait. Is it popular, or Kuwaitis still prefer to get married here?
Kuwaiti or weddings in general?
Or like Kuwaitis, weddings in general. And did you think about exporting your business outside Kuwait?
هلا بالنسبة صار كثير في هلا إذا بنلاحظ كل شيء بالدنيا صار بيتبع الموضة، الأكل صار بيتبع الموضة، كل شيء بيتبع الموضة. هلا صارت الإن أو الموضة إنه العراس تنعمل برا الكويت.
Exactly. Everywhere.
ففي كثير عراس تنعمل برا الكويت صارت، يعني قليل أصلا يمكن صارت limited، يمكن اللي صارت تنعمل برا. حتى في فترة كانت قريبة، بيروت، دبي، هلا صارت يوروب. فشو السؤال الثاني؟
So do you think about, are you exporting your business outside? And do you work outside of it?
هلا أنا تميج سوسن مطبخي، طلعنا أعراس بالسعودية، بس يعني طلعنا كذا عرس بالسعودية.
Yeah, we do a lot of weddings outside of Kuwait, mainly in Qatar and Riyadh. We're expanding that business model as well in other territories. But for the international, it's a very, very limited shortlist. So we don't work with anyone, because you're doing the event at someone else's, let's say, event. So there is a specific wedding planners, there's specific people that we trust. We make sure it will put the brand within the standards that we wish for. And mainly, mobilizing, I keep saying it because I'm still, I'm impressed. How can, we send 75 to 100 employees to do a wedding, 3 days, 1 day setup, do all of the machinery, the setup هذا. It's something very, very unique. But what we do is, those type of weddings is not for the mass. It's a selective type of wedding. The preparation part of it takes long time. Bibi knows how the process from mood board, from kind selection, from tastings, even the asset movement, making sure everything is well. Logistic plays a huge part of it because we do it all paid by air, not بس يعني الحمد لله we got very good feedback, and our international clients are all elite. Some of them are within the royal families of those countries, so, and they keep asking back because they're happy with that يعني system and arrangement at the quality, because in their country they don't have that luxurious offering when it comes to a full catering experience within their province.
Unfortunately, no, we don't do outside Kuwait, and it's limited to Kuwait. If the opportunity comes, we'll look into it.
Okay.
I'm currently working on a few projects outside of Kuwait.
Where? In which part? Just as well,
Saudi.
Saudi. Okay.
And I just completed one. I'm working on one next week, and I'm actually, I'm very proud. I'm not just a very proud Kuwaiti, but I'm very proud of the way we work in Kuwait, because we roll up our sleeves and get things done. I mean, I don't want to put people down, but they're very, very bystander by the book in Saudi. I mean, you can't even ask the chef to change his bowl. He thinks that's sacrilegious, So it's just what he does and just the way he does it, and no change. And there isn't, I guess, I mean, maybe in the area in Saudi it's a little bit less developed than the big cities, but I just feel like in Kuwait we have so many options. And they're limited, so it's very difficult. So at this point, it is, I think, more than it is design, more than it is creativity, it's your power of logistics, and that's what I've learned. Literally paying out of pocket just to get things done, because it's very difficult. So once we master that, I know I'm gonna pull back. There's been a lot of demand, but I'm gonna pull back from that. And then once I can figure out logistics and proper strategic partners, then I'll go back in, because at this point it's very difficult.
So how much can... Yes, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I just want to add, the winners of the catering in Kuwait are the first who actually do a full-fledged expansion on the GCC, because we as a country, we're exporting a lot of brands. A lot of people in the GCC, they stopped going to international brands to work with them, because the local brands are more customized and fit the environment. So I believe that the trend came to the restaurants and cafes a few years ago. Currently, every single F&B entity or a person who wants to go to that within Saudi, and I will put a lot of lines on the Saudi, it will be a gold mine for them, because you're talking about more than 20 million people. They just started doing all of that, and whatever number you're doing in Kuwait, you can easily do 3-4 times that number there with lower quality even, because no one set the standard yet. It's just a matter of barrier of entry, similar to what Bibi said. The first people who actually finalize that move of logistics, of let's say facilities, offering, customization, connection, would be the person who's going to win that market.
And just something, I mean, I find in Lebanon they're as creative as we are. Yeah, I mean, they're so interested in changing and being flexible. And I think they're the only, I mean, I've worked in Turkey, Saudi, I've worked in Bahrain, but definitely Lebanon and Kuwait are up there, I guess, on creativity.
Lebanon are competing with us. Forget that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we look now at numbers, what is the percentage of your business that happens here versus outside? And I'm understanding that Saudi is mainly the market that you're going out to, right?
I'm and I've got Oman.
Okay.
I've got Oman. It's pretty raw and open and very accepting of it because also they're limited. They just started. What I love about the Omani people is before they were very pro-Oman, which they're very pro-Oman. They also just always wanted to support internally. But I think now, due to social media, the young brides, the young, I even did a dinner, it wasn't just weddings, but the younger generation wants something new and they can't find it. So it's interesting that, and again, this is Kuwait Pride, but like, it's so interesting that anyone I meet, even in Europe or anything, they're showing me Instagram accounts of Kuwaiti companies, all these amazing Kuwaiti chefs, and you're one of them. Like all these amazing Kuwaiti chefs are like the trendsetters now, even in London. So this is great. In terms of business percentage, it's about 15-20%, not more. I'm happy with that.
So 15-20%, and they are not necessarily Kuwaitis who are like doing the.
No.
Okay. All right.
Bahrain is I've got Indian clientele.
Okay. So what your business as well is mainly when you are catering outside of Kuwait is mainly for non-Kuwaitis?
Yeah, definitely. It's very rare to do a Kuwaiti wedding, a Kuwaiti client outside of Kuwait. But our clients that we do weddings for outside of Kuwait are mainly locals of that country. We do approximately 20-25% of the businesses outside of Kuwait. But that due to our rejection, we have a lot of criteria, so it's not that easy to go into those type of weddings, and it is very expensive. So we're very picky on which wedding we go to, especially with international, because we want to do it right, we want to do it comfortably, we want to do it in a way that when we come back, it's a win for us. It's not because there's, as Bibi said, there's a lot of things that you pay here and there that you don't calculate it within your hadaf. If it's not worth it, then we don't do it. And there's a lot of weddings a year outside of Kuwait. We apologize due to either the seasonality here in Kuwait or it doesn't fit the criteria that we want to do outside of Kuwait. Well, overall, 20-25%.
Okay. Shauli, do you want to
100% in Kuwait.
No, but you said you do.
100% Kuwait. Yeah.
And here 100%.
And you're 100%. Now, if we go back to the specificities of each catering business, we've got the corporate, we have the social, we have the industrial. Can you tell us more about you from your own perspective?
Do you need it percentage-wise or in okay, Oscar. Okay, you have the social basically is, it has the big part of our business. As I said, during the weekends, people walk together, either just for gathering for, to get together with friends and family, or it could be a wedding anniversary, it could be graduation, it could be any get together. This is a social part of it. When it comes to corporate, it could be a company event introducing a new product, they want to launch in their showrooms or in their company, or they have a training seminars, or just an annual staff get together. Here we have in Kuwait the camping season. It's a big thing. People take all their staff to one of the camps and we do the catering for them. When it comes to industrial, mainly it's government camps and factories, which is, it's a different ball game. So you have specialized caterers like Al-Wazan and Tariq Al-Ghanem. They go into, you serve your own kitchen within the premises, and you offer breakfast, lunch, and dinner at a very low price. It's a different, ball game from our catering as far as food retailers.
Okay. And your mix in your own company, it's like you're more doing corporate or social?
We do more social, but I said, during weekends, and we're concentrating on the corporate during weekdays to compensate for the weekend.
Sosa.
يعني نحن شركتنا لا مور سوشيال جاذرينجز ويدنجز بياخذوا جزء مش كل العرس طبعا بارتيز بريكفاست، لانش، ديوانيات، هيك شيء. هلا عندنا كم شركه موظفينهم عددهم قليل، يعني ليتس سي خليل ساعدني، الشركات اللي بتاخذ منا 20 25 شخص، هيك 20 25 شخص، بس مش الشركات اللي 200 300 400 ويضبطوا more socially stuff.
Okay, so for events, it used to be mostly weddings that I focused on, but I've done a different division, which is for small events, and I feel the small events is booming in a way that people are able to just rent some simple furniture sets, and usually it's dining tables that they need, so that they can actually, you know, the term right now is I've been baited it. So my friends say, like, I'm like, where's the food from? They're like, baked, they're like, yeah, but wait, they're like everywhere. So basically people always rent like 2 tables, about 180, so 3 meters 60. It starts with 3 to 4 salads, a sushi or cheese platter is a must right now, 4 or 5 main dishes, and 3 desserts. And Adi, and every single one is from a different restaurant. It's funny because it's just their finger, literally they tap it, and they're so proud of, again, their curation. So this is a really big, I'm seeing the small micro social events are really good. There's a missing link, is they all need service, so someone needs to get all this, like provide us with waiters, provide us with 2 lady staff. It should be an added service on these platforms, I think, because that's missing. Nobody has cutlery, nobody has glasses for that small amount, so someone here should get into that. And I'm now focusing more on luxury corporate, because the luxury market has stopped doing big events. They're also doing focused, curated events, boutique events. They're inviting their VIPs. They wanted special dinner, something no one's seen, something so different, but for 18 people. They want a catered menu for 18 to 24. And that's a little bit tough because the big caterers find that they either charge way too high because it's an inconvenience to cater for such a little amount, you know. So I mean, also it's my job to always look for interesting venues and different spaces and different things where we can find that balance.
كل شيء بيبي قالته كثير مضبوط. أنا تومي لأنه أنا شيف بفقد المزاج إذا صار الأوردر كثير كبير. فحلو الأوردرات اللي بتكون 15 20 شخص تستمتعي غير إنه بالطبخ بالبرزنتيشن تبعتها، بإنك تظبطيها، بإنك تطلعيها كما يجب. دائما كل ما زاد العدد برأيي أنا لازم يفقد جزء من كماله. ما بدي أقول إنه بصير تجاري، لا، بس بيفقد جزء من كماله الأوردر. فالشغل بأوردرات صغيرة أو بجروبات صغيرة كتير حلو، كتير حلو، والحلو فيه إنه يكون كتير يتكرر.
So your question was highlighting 3 different types of the industry. The industrial part of it is it's basically price oriented, not even quality. We reached to that point, it's just about this amount. And it's being given to companies that, in my opinion, shell companies that just goes into munaqasat or muzayadat, etc. And that part of the industrial is basically doing the same thing over and over and over, is like airplane food. You will have the same thing, the same, doesn't have a spirit, doesn't have a feel. It's something that we don't promote it because it's, in some cases, it's not even good food. When we jump into the social, it's basically the main thing that we're working on. But corporate, as you guys mentioned, it's correct because the prices is the same. When I do it for a wedding, I would come and I would do the same thing for the corporate. The corporate would require less type of headache. But at the same time, it doesn't make sense for me if you come, let's say 100 people, they come and they order the same thing. But I will price a premium for a wedding and I will price a discount rate for the corporate. So what we are doing and what we encourage other companies also to do is diversify your catering platform. So if you come and say, for example, for us, when we came and we said, Lenot is the luxury type of brand, we don't want to compromise. We don't want to lose business from other competitors in the market, but that doesn't mean I need to do Lenot for corporate, Lenot for catering, for VIP weddings, for you will reach to a point you want to be everywhere, you want to do everything, and you want to compete with everyone. So you reach to a point, even the business model behind the corporate is different than the catering. To me, it doesn't make sense, for the weddings, it doesn't make sense someone's paying a premium for a wedding, and I have a very good cutlery and plate setting and sakhanat, etc. And at the same time, 2 months later, you see it in an event, a corporate event with the same setup. It doesn't make sense. So what we are doing is we're actually diversifying our portfolio by creating different brands with different business entities with different even management. Okay. So we have the scalability, we have the facility. We made the facility part of MMC, not part of Lenot catering. That facility can cater to this company and any other company that we want to do. So tomorrow we might do another business model or a business unit that only caters for corporate. That business unit has a different setup of assets, have different scale when it comes to chefs, when it comes to hosting, when it comes to everything related to the business. I don't want to compete with Lenot. I don't want Lenot to compete with other concepts. I want to keep Lenot at its place currently, and we could do 3-4 concepts that would be created for that market, and each one of those concepts have a different person representing the spirit behind it.
All right.
A prime example we can use is Toyota when they came and created Lexus. So they wanted to go to upscale, so they created Lexus for the high end, and they kept the Toyota brand for the masses. So I do agree with them, with Ahmad and Ibrahim. So that in that case, if you have to create 2 niches, one for the luxury and one for the masses, in order, because you cannot compete on price alone, on the same price across the board. So you need to adapt your strategy.
Definitely. So how do you explain so many catering companies coming to Kuwait? How do you explain that thing in the market? Why? Because at the beginning we started, is it saturated, not saturated? This is a debatable question according to consumer or to professionals. So why people come and keep on opening catering companies, you think?
I don't think there is a lot of international companies opening and competing.
No, not international.
You mean newcomers?
Yes, newcomers.
Okay.
هلا هو طيب
No, go ahead.
أنا
أنا بعرف خلص مش بس.
هلا انا ما بعرف صراحه او ما عندي احصائيه قديش عدد شركات الكيترينج يعني تصير، بس مشكله انه في شيء صار مش حلو بالسوق، انه الناس صارت بتقلد كثير. فشو في حدا نجح بشيء، اوكي فلان نجح عامل هيك، يلا خلينا نروح نعمل هيك. فبتلاقي في اشياء عم تفتح بتنافسك، ولو انه هي مش منافسه عادله ويمكن ما تعمر كثير بالسوق، بس خلينا نسميها بتشوشر عليكي، يعني بتوجع لك راسك شوي من هون للزبون يكتشف انه اوه لا بدنا نرجع للاولاني. فكثرة الاشياء اللي عم تفتح، لانه صارت موضه انه كل حدا يكون عنده مطعم، صار كل حدا موضه انه يصير شيف، صار كل حدا لازم يطبخ، كل حدا لازم يعمل كيترينج.
حتى كل حدا تطبخ صار اونلاين.
في ناس صارت تفتح مطاعم من ورا ريسيبي بياخدوها من انستغرام او من حدا انا شخصيا بعرف من غير ذكر اسامي، ناس فتحت مطاعم على ريسبي اخذوها من انستغرام، فتحوا فتره ما نجحوا ما نجحوا. يعني هاي الاشياء بتفتح بتقول not last، بس بالاخر الناس they like to copy للاسف يعني.
It's definitely something that's happening, but there is no IP on food. Okay? So, in my opinion, if you continue improving your branding, no one يقدر يقلد سوس المطبخ. This is given. يشتغلون الريسبيز بس يعني ال continuous of that خلاص people can copy, but they can't copy your brand, they can't copy your spirit. Today يعني sorry, but a lot of companies they went into the wedding planners وهذا بس sorry بس she set the standard. No one can be بحياة Kuwait. This is my opinion. But at the same time, they can copy the style, they can copy the look, they can copy everything. But the person himself, it's not and you can't do an intellectual property on recipe. You can't do it on presentation. You can't do it. يعني some people are even doing يعني this is your brand name. أي أنا أقول باشا ميسا غانم الأصلي. صار خلاص خليت الاسم تجاري. Or you play around with the names. I have brands. I have companies outside of Kuwait, in Riyadh, in Qatar, in Oman. They even copy paste the logo. Yes. The logo exactly. But we talked to them and they said, "You're inspiring us." Inspire something else. It's not about that. Sorry, no.
هلا هم ينجحوا او ما ينجحوا هذا موضوع ثاني، بس هم يقلدوا هي هون القصه. او جواب السؤال تبع ندى انه ليش في كثير اشياء عم تفتح؟ سمبلي لانه فتره يعني خليني احكي لك مثلا الحكي عن الطبخ كطبخ او being a chef او طباخه، في فتره من الزمن كان بالعادات تبعتنا مش كثير محبب، كان يمكن عيب يعني مش مقبول كثير. تحول الموضوع خلال 10 سنين لصار موضة، فصار مثل ما قلت اللي بيعرف واللي ما بيعرف بيفتح، والتقليد هو هاي المشكلة الأكبر اللي هي everybody wants to copy الناجح. بيستمروا أو ما بيستمروا هاي حكاية ثانية.
Talking about copying, it's a trend in Kuwait. It's always, I came back from the US in the early 80s, and video rental was the thing. So everybody wanted to go into the video renting. And then taxis, everyone was taxing. So after liberation, it was the pagers. So everybody went to, to cut it short is, you have I'm going to answer you in two things. First, the government has made it easy through the government funding for small businesses and startups. So everybody find it easy to go. The easiest way with the economic situation it is now, the easy business to go to is food. And if you look at the number of homegrown coffee concept, the homegrown burger concept, homegrown, I have a recipe from my grandmother for, let's say, majbouz, or my grandmother for msakhan or ma'lube. So they think they can build up on that. And maybe they look at somebody who's successful like Sausan. If Sausan can do it, why can't I? Okay, what does Sausan, if Master Ghanem can do it, why can't I do it? I'll go get me a Lebanese chef, I'll have mashwiyat and mukhabbalat, and I can open a restaurant. So they don't have the business sense behind it. They just think like, when we open shawarma, okay, everybody wants to jump on the same wagon of shawarma. Shawarma was always there, but now we took it a step higher, making it clean and a nice packaging, affordable in a nice way. So everybody said, oh, if he can do it, why can't I? So this is the trend in Kuwait. But having the business sense behind it and having the management behind how to manage your business, that's what gives you the continuity. And you're always going to be a step ahead of them in order of menu innovation, services, packaging, so on and so forth.
Bibi, if I go back to you, how do when you do your events, how do you choose your caterer? besides the flexibility?
I will answer that, okay. But there's too many people that I work with here. But I want to just go back to something. I was invited to, this is just of the last question because I think it's so important. There's a bit too much quick liquid cash. People are pooling their money together to open up businesses. That's why we have too many. I was invited for a very short time to advise on national fund. And when I sat to mentor, I would want to say mentor. When I was asked to mentor people on their businesses, what I found was they just had FOMO. FOMO means fear of missing out, and I think that's why we have so many businesses. And I couldn't fathom or I couldn't understand why people wanted to do this, because I'm a very passionate business person, and I'm honestly maybe the worst business person, because sometimes they'll be negative or we'll be breaking even for 2 years, but it's fine because I love what I do. And I think that's a very big missing factor of what makes a successful business sustain. So you have these people that come into the market, they've been given 200,000 KD, 150,000 KD to open a tiny bakery, a coffee shop. They've given, I would say, 60% of that for food equipment and interior. They're left with 40% of that to basically start their concept. Then they're selling coffee. And no offense, I love coffee. I love coffee. So I don't mind in كل مكان أروح I can an Americano, ما عندي مشكلة. But the problem is the coffee doesn't make that money back. And now I'm seeing so many people come to me on a second thing where they Instagram me or message me or see me places, and they're like, what do? I have an overhead of 4,000 KD a month because أنا أخذت 200,000 to open a coffee shop. So there's this huge problem here. So there's a lot, and now there's a lot of people closing down, and it's strange. It's because they never started with passion. They just did it.
And they didn't do their homework.
Exactly.
Well,
I think there's homework as well to be done before you start any business.
Well, technically, the fund, no offense, but the fund is supposed to do the homework, and they're supposed to be mentoring these people, and then you have companies that do feasibilities. But I think that has become a business on its own, and that's why it's not fair. And I think that we should also be strong enough to say no. When a cousin of mine comes in and she has a bread pudding, I have a bakery, so I don't want to seem like I'm not supporting other businesses, but when someone comes in and they have a bread pudding and it's like, yeah, I'm going to open a business, I no longer ashajja, because I think in mujamalat is also a very big problem. We support people for like a week, 2, 3, a month, then we don't support them again, and they're like, where's my business gone? Well, it wasn't that amazing or to sustain. So I think I think we should all be realists and not pessimistic, but really talk to people about the ups and downs, and I think entrepreneurs should talk about the negative aspects. Like, and to me, summers are terrible. They make me want to close down my company and fire everyone, and I go through a craziness. And I think the more people talk about the bad times, people have a more realistic view. And also pricing down, we get in the summer months, we're just desperate to pay the rent, pay our overheads, and sometimes we drop our prices. And I learned a long time ago, never drop your prices, because what will happen is you'll never be able to raise them again.
Because you cannot bring more.
You can't, no, and then everyone will be like, أنت عطيتي فلان هالسعر، أنت عطيتي فلان هالسعر.
And they will forget it.
So so I think this is something really important. So I forgot what question you asked me. You might have to say that passionately.
Can I add to this?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think another issue is with the small startups that the government is encouraging is not holding them accountable. So they take the 200,000 KD, and if they blow it, they say, okay, we'll go to the mizaniyah, so I don't really have to pay it back. It's called for maduniyat. So this again is another issue. So everybody jumping on the bandwagon of the F&B because they want a copycat, but nobody's holding them accountable. And this again is another issue for people who are leaders in the market in the F&B, that's saying all these guys are just nibbling from their niches without really having the experience or the know-how to continue. On the contrary, I encourage every successful Kuwaiti, because even though I've been raised in Kuwait, I really feel proud to see a Kuwaiti being successful in any concept, because this is your pride. This is your pride. We don't have much of an industry, like Brahim said earlier. We're exporting our know-how to the region, opening these franchises or taking it from here to Saudi, Emirates, or Oman, wherever around the region. So this is our pride. So the government has to put them accountable in order for them to be successful. Okay, and this is how I.
I'll add on the question. Most of us didn't answer the question, so I'm just going to go back a little bit. Is it? The question was, why do people are opening new businesses? Why there is newcomers in the catering? And I believe let's say the fund or the small businesses who are coming into that sector, and in my opinion, I see it 10 to 20% minimum. The other 80% are actually existing businesses that just realize that this is a new profit center for them. Similar to what happened in the delivery. So now, my worry is if there is like a very, very nice restaurant that has been working for the past 3, 4, 5 years, they would come and they would say, I have the facility, I have the staff, and I have downtime. I can actually just spend few KDs on a station and build on go into the websites or platforms or apps, or just do word of mouth, or at least if I'm getting 300, 400 people at my door every single day, I'll have like a small announcement on the table or whatever to tell them that we do cater. And this is something that I'm seeing that it will grow big time, even for the big players, especially for the big players and the big franchise groups. Like the Shire is one of the biggest groups, and I think they entered. Anyone from a Shire? Okay. You guys are amazing before I talk. Okay. So I believe they entered the delivery market way late compared to the other competitors. Like 3 years late. And that, I hope that they didn't affect them, but the amount of players that entered in that market, because the brands wasn't available at delivery, and it became the norm to order while sitting at home. And I think a group similar to Ashaya, I started seeing here and there with some of the brands like Dean and Luca and the bakery, I always forget its name, the Green Bakery, they just opened. So those type of companies or brands internationally, they're capable to do catering. So if those brands, and I think they should learn from the mistake of the late entry of the delivery and go in, and not just them. There is 3, 4 other big players in the market. If they realize that, this is your big threat, not the small businesses. Because they have the know-how, they have the capabilities, they have the capex, they can actually go in 2, 3 months, they will be, they will own shares in that market. So this is just my opinion on your question. Thank you.
Thank you. I will finish this panel with my last question to Bibi. So what would you like the caterers to do?
So weird. Okay. I think everyone's doing a great job. I think a little bit of. I know, again, maybe the market doesn't help, but reinvesting in products, because some people don't have big budgets anymore, and maybe just an extension of the furniture that you may have, like a really nice table, the kind of espresso machine that you bring to events, just uplifting just a little bit. There are some caterers that I work with that don't have clear pricing points, which confuses people. So I'm sitting there trying to, get the best offer from 4 or 5 hotels, and it's not all clear. And I wish that would be, fixed. And that's about it. Yeah.
Thank you. And any new plans for you in the future? To announce for Horeca Kuwait?
I'm planning to do a small restaurant now. عم اشتغل فيها هلا. خايفة لأنه الريستورانت شيء مش سهل، والبلد صارت معبية يعني بطريقة aggressive. فبس I have to do it and I want to do it، وراح أشتغل قد ما بقدر على إنه ينجح إن شاء الله.
No, go ahead. لا
MMC in general, not the catering. we will be operating fully as a company in 4 different countries in the GCC by the end of 2020.
Great.
بركة بالشباب.
Maybe upgrade our catering services. Upgrading our catering services. Like Bibi said, with the crockery and the shaving dishes, the latest in the what we can offer. There's like new things to be offered.
Great.
Sorry, I need to add one more information.
Yes.
We're doing a collaboration, but still not announced and still under the
That's why you're sitting next to each other. Alright, so I'll open the floor for questions.
جزاكم الله بالخير. أنا طبعا ما عندي أي سؤال، لكن أنا اسم ليدرز جروب وهوسبيتاليتي سيرفيس، حبيبتنا جمانة دموس من بيروت ومحمد نجية فريق ليدرز جروب وهوسبيتاليتي سيرفيسز. حابة أشكركم على حضوركم وعلى يعني معلوماتكم القيمة اللي تحدثونا اليوم فيها، بيبي وشوقي وإبراهيم وسوسن. سعيدين بوجودكم اليوم معنا في هوريكا، وحب يعني بس أعطي، وطبعا ندى سؤال يعني رائعة رائعة، ما خليت ولا سؤال صراحة، ما في مجال نسأل، بس أنا حاب أقول يعني مع توسع أعداد الناس ونوعيات الناس. أول إحنا كنا شوية 3-4 مناطق بالكويت، كنا يسمونا ما قبل الدائرة الرابع، الحين وصلنا ما بعد الدائرة السابع. كنا تقريبا 250-300 ألف شخص، يعني خلينا نقول اللي بيعملوا 10 أو 20% منهم يسوون حفلات. الآن احنا وصلنا إلى 1.5 مليون بالكويت، كويتي أنا أقصد، يعني أتكلم عن الكويتيين. أكيد في الطلبات راح تزيد. هل أنتم يعني مستعدين حق يعني لما تقولون احنا ما نبي، أو النيو كامر مهددين، أو الشركات اللي قاعد تفتح تهددنا؟ أنا أعتقد في مساحة من الفرص الكثيرة، حتى لو فتحت مثل لانوت فتحوا أكثر من سيكتور، أعتقد إنه في فرص. طبعاً لانوت بصمة، بيبي حياة بصمة، سوسن مطبخي بصمة، شوقي بصمة، هذه ما راح تتغير. لكن أعتقد دائماً يعني إحنا يمكن لحقنا وإحنا صغار، بس يعني عشان ما نكبر نفسي وايد، إحنا لحقنا على أيام الكيترينج من عدنان جبري. وكان يعني عدنان جبري واو، الحين ماكو عدنان جبري بالكويت. بعدين بعدها يشرب الشيراتون وبعدين الفنادق. فيعني خلونا نقول ان النجاح مستمر فيكم، وحتى لو دخل الاخرين وينجحون ففي متاح للجميع. وبس هاي اللي حبيت اقول لكم، مشكورين على كل معلومه اعطيتونا اياها.
My question goes to Ibrahim Houthi. After you lost the Lunot location, what was the impact on this? Because people knows Lunot, and because of the location. So, what happened? How did you manage this? Thank you.
So this is an emotional question for the company.
Yeah.
Okay. The big elephant in the room. Yeah. Before I answer you, I hope that the person or the company who took that landmark actually presented within the standard that it has been for the past 25 years. Secondly, it was something that isn't within our control, but every good thing usually has an end. So, in my opinion, having that location might have been limiting us of the history of Lanot, and we might look at ourselves at that stage for the coming years. But the closure of that location is actually gave us the power and the push to think young again, to think that everything has an end, and this is the first step for us to rebuild and do a reborn for MMC, which will officially be announced next summer as a company, not as Lanot. But because the standard and the waiting from everyone regarding the reopening of Lanot, we're being very picky. Yeah, I mean, every single month we sit down and we review 2-3 different lands. This has this, this has this. We don't want to do the same idea that we did in the main location, because this had its era, and the coming years should have its own direction and feel. So it's a very hard decision, and to us, either we do it right in a way, because a lot of people are expecting a specific standard, or we don't do it. So we're not going to open if it's half and half. Or let's say, Mshari Roban has a saying always, he said, I don't like to do something 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 doesn't show if it's good or bad. Either a 10 or no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank you again.
Can I
Yes.
one more?
Yes.
It's for everybody. It's the kitchen cloud, which is coming in. It looks like it's coming in. Do you think it has chance to succeed in Kuwait? Because it's in the GC in Dubai, I think.
A cloud kitchen. Everything that's done right has a potential to succeed. It depends who's managing it and who's getting it into the market, and how it is introduced into the market.
Yeah. MLC launched its cloud kitchen concept. What's that?
3 years back.
June, July. Yeah. It's called Hype Kitchens. Which is Hype Kitchens. It's a hybrid cloud kitchen, ghost kitchen, that has in-house brands and rental spaces. We currently have 4 locations in Kuwait. We're actually just raise your hands. Hype Kitchen guys. You have Alex, operation manager. You have Abdurrahman overseeing 2 concepts. Aya, Lucky One, Hadil, Mira. So we're doing it big time. We have 4 locations in Kuwait. We're officially announcing it to the public before Ramadan. And we just signed an alliance to open 15 locations in Saudi, 5 locations in Egypt, and potentially within the next 2 years, 5 locations in London. So hopefully soon you will see MMC one of the players of that new industry. Thank you.
Good luck.
Tomorrow we can hear more about cloud kitchens as well in our panel.
That's good. That's good.
Great. So I'd like to thank you again for your participation and for your valuable input. So thank you, and thank you for the audience.
Thank you.